And we're recording. Hello, everyone.
Hiya.
So I'm here with Kate and Rachel, and we're going to be talking about the Wild Woman Archetype, what it means to us, and also a little bit about what we do at the Wild Woman photo shoots and why we do them and how they came about. So this is, kind of dedicated to our Wild Woman week of exploring and, getting to know what the Wild Woman means, because I think we've spoken a lot before how sometimes people can feel quite intimidated by the word wild, and we just wanted to kind of, clear some of the stigma and maybe have a bit of a juicy conversation about what it means to each of us. Cool. So thanks for tuning in. Rach and Kate, do you want to tell us maybe about your experience of what the Wild Woman photo shoot days have been for you? Rach, do you want to go first as you're the photographer?
Sure. Yes, so I am the photographer for the Wild Woman photo shoots. They came about really, I think Amy and Robin, who's one of the other directors of Soulshine, had this idea that it would be really nice to go and do a photo shoot in nature, really sort of celebrate kind of really authentic beauty and not be a kind of posed, like, kind of stereotypical photo shoot setup, but just really kind of connect with nature and get some really lovely photos. And like, yeah, sure, sounds like fun. And so off we went, and it was magical. Like it was blew my mind really. I had no idea what to expect. There was a bit of fear around the wild woman words. I had this idea that everyone else was going to be really free and expressive, and I just feel a little bit kind of I don't know, sort of inhibited, or like I didn't fit in or something like that. I had all these ideas about it, but when we got there, it was just like, it's a beautiful setting. That definitely helps. Absolutely stunning gardens, just so much beauty to look at. And as an artist and photographer, that immediately makes me just go woo. And then the day just unfolded really naturally, really authentically. There was no pressure to kind of be a certain way, and I started to get more of a sense of what the kind of Wild Woman archetype actually means. And I think I had in my head that it meant looking a certain way, dressing a certain way, being this kind of wild, hippie, free, barefoot in the grass, etc. Of course, that is all welcome, but I started to realize actually it's really about like that. In my, I was just putting that, it was another box that I was kind of putting people in, like, oh, they're a wild woman, I can't be like that. And I started to get this deeper sense of like what it really means, which is all about authenticity to me, and sort of embracing who you really are and allowing that to shine, and the many different facets of ourselves as well. And that I think really came through, like opportunities to have photos taken of in different outfits, in different settings, to kind of connect with all the different sides to oneself. I think that was really powerful.
Yeah, thanks, Rach. And I'm really curious to know, like, if you can maybe express about how you felt how you felt yourself after spending that day in nature and with us, and kind of playing and, like you said, maybe tapping in or tuning into more authenticity, and like once we all relaxed, and it was just a really gorgeous supported day, wasn't it? How did you feel like you were maybe capable of getting in front of the camera instead of just being behind it?
So I think part of my hesitation, I didn't really hesitate. I knew you and Robin well enough. I hadn't met Kate at that point, but I knew you guys well enough to know that it would be a lovely day. And it was something I wanted to do, but there was a bit of hesitation in the back of my mind, and I think that was largely about my own body image, the fact that I'd had breast cancer and I'd had a mastectomy. I put on quite a lot of weight in the last few years. I didn't feel very confident in my body and how I looked, and I was thinking I was just going to see all these people with their perfect bodies, and who are just completely not even about the perfect bodies. It was more about the kind of, that they would just be completely confident in how they looked, and I would feel really, that would just make that divide feel wider for me. But actually, I think seeing people being their authentic selves, it makes me realize, like, there is no such thing as a perfect body. Everybody's body is completely different to everybody else's. And that just really put me at ease. You know, everybody's different shape, different size, different, you know, we're all just different. And if we're all trying to live up to some expectation of perfection that is thrown at us by the media, then, like, we're just constantly going to be disappointed. And so that was it's one of those things that I think I knew on a kind of intellectual level, but I really felt it that day. Like, I really felt that kind of like, oh gosh, everybody is absolutely fine as they are, and absolutely beautiful, and absolutely different from each other. And so by the end of the day, yeah, I felt really like, oh, you know what? Maybe next time, if we do this again, I might maybe see if someone will take my photo. And then we did do another one, and I did have my photo taken without a top on, which is something I never thought in a million years I would ever do. I had my back to the camera, but everybody obviously saw the front of me while I was running around, and I was completely fine with it, and it changed. It has had a big impact on my body image, actually, and how I feel about it, and just the acceptance I felt from everybody. Nobody was looking at me like with pity or with kind of shock or like anything. It was just, oh, okay, yep, that's somebody with a body, just like all the rest of us have a body. It was just like, wow, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just feel quite emotional just remembering that moment.
It was amazing. Do you remember that massive
Oh,
hug when everyone just like bundled into the middle, and I was like right in the middle of this huge hug, which, yeah, oh, hugs. I remember hugs. Oh,
hugs back in the day when we could hug each other.
oh,
Ah,
hugs.
hugs from afar. Thanks, Rach. Yeah, I really appreciate. Yeah, I value. Yeah, just hearing your story and your experience so much. So thank you for sharing some of that. Kate, do you want to tell us maybe, yeah, what's been your experience? I guess, yeah, starting from our first one that we did together. How was that? How was that for you?
Yeah, I think I've been on quite a journey with it myself as well. Because I'd only really just met you, Amy. I hadn't met Robin or Rachel on that first one. So I think I came with a lot of ideas, and still this idea of posing a certain way, looking a certain way. And to a certain extent that was nice, because I was able to portray elements of myself that I felt I needed to work on a bit. Like did like the warrior thing, didn't we, on the first one? So like I got Robin and Amy involved to kind of dress up, so we had all this face paint on, didn't we, and like loincloths and all this stuff. And yeah, so it was really nice to feel that support from the other women in kind of something I felt like I needed to bring out in myself. Like I needed that warrior to help me build boundaries. And yeah, and then as we started doing more of them, what I started realizing, especially like with the sharing circles and those exercises we do at the beginning of the day, is that it helps us to soften and to kind of come into the vulnerable spaces where actually a lot of beauty is. We don't let ourselves kind of explore that very much. But there's so much power in that vulnerability. And when we go, oh, you know, I feel this way, I don't like this bit of my body, then we all start seeing, like Rachel was saying, like we start seeing each other for the, you know, that person, that spirit within, rather than kind of judging any exterior. You start to go, okay, well, I have a similar hang up, and actually I wouldn't even consider that looking at you. So it starts getting you to kind of consider things in a very different way, and to realize that we're all on the journey together. And yeah, that's been really special for me, because our body's always changing, especially as women. So it's being able to practice those elements of being able to start accepting as we change, and yeah, and just knowing that it's part of who we are. But
yeah, gorgeous. Thank you, Kate. I think that you just touched on a really important element of why we continue to do the Wild Woman photo shoots and why they're so special is that sharing of stories, isn't it? That connection. And I think that, you know, in my own experience, like you were saying, the hang-ups that I have around my body or have had in the past, it almost feels like I'm the only person experiencing it, and it becomes like the more silent, you know, the more silent it becomes, or the more kind of enclosed it becomes and hidden away, this shame starts, that, you know, it can grow and it can grow and it can grow, and it sort of eventually has like a story of its own. And when I have voiced things in sharing circles and just realized that other women are experiencing similar things, it's just been like, wow, you know, there's nothing wrong with me, there's nothing that makes me, you know, strange or weird or odd. And this kind of, yeah, this body shame that has grown and grown in the silence almost becomes like so less, it has less power and less hold over me, because it's just like, oh, I've connected with other women and I've heard other women's stories, and it's like, actually, like you said, Kate, I would never have thought that about another person. And when you get to know like the souls and the spirits and the personalities and the different aspects to people, I feel like the physical body has less, like, not that it's not important, but like the physical appearance of someone, yeah, it doesn't, I feel like it's almost like because in our culture, everything in media, everything is so focused on appearance, but in those spaces it's like there's another depth, there's another layer of connection that, yeah, sort of transcends the physical almost. And that's, yeah, one of the reasons that I absolutely love the Wild Woman photo shoot days, because you have heart to heart, soul to soul connections with people, and you get to celebrate each other's beauty on so many different layers, right? There's just so many different levels of beauty. And yeah, Rach, you just capture such beautiful moments, interactions and playfulness and creativity. It's been so lovely to see, like we were saying, that this wild woman archetype can mean different things to different people, right? And we've seen like people, like we've explored the warrior, and we've seen people kind of maybe dress up in that kind of more warrior, fierce goddess type. I did this because I was just remembering the stick. And then we've also seen kind of like more softer sides, maybe more earthy sides, you know. What else have we had? More flowy sides, you know, people bring kind of like all different kinds of clothes and accessories. Well. Yeah, exactly.
Climbing trees, you know, just
climbing trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and connecting with the landscape in a really profound way, and being inspired by the landscape as well to kind of move and flow. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it, guys?
Yes. One thing I really love is how everyone arrives and it's kind of like, oh, hello. And I think there's often a little bit of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of apprehension, and then so quickly it seems like, you know, just through the lovely meditations and drumming and movement and the sharing circle, it's kind of everyone just sort of drops into this new space. And then often people start out the day saying, oh, well, I'll have some great photos, but I'm not really up for, I don't know about having photos on my own. And pretty much every time I think people have really, by the end of the day, or, you know, after lunch, then people are kind of, they're off, they're like exploring, and they're like, I found somewhere, I want to have the backdrop here, or I want to climb this tree, I want to wear these clothes. And they're just kind of really get into the landscape and into themselves, and like, I think through connecting with each other as well and bouncing ideas around, and that really helps people just feel really at ease. And yeah, I love the way it flows as well. I kind of like, I just feel like I kind of flow from one place to the next, and it's just kind of all seems to come together. Yeah, and just those little moments. I think that's where so much of the beauty lies for me, is those interactions that you see between people who maybe you've never met before, and they're laughing together, they're hugging, they're having a real giggle about something. It's just a real delight. I just love kind of almost hiding slightly in the trees and just capturing those little moments as they unfold. And people often say, I had no idea you'd taken that photo, I didn't even know you were there.
Like a ninja.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. And you're right, and like you say, the co-creation, the co-creative energy and the support, because obviously we're touching on things that are really that can often be emotional and can be difficult for people to even voice or even be aware of. So there's often tears, there's often a whole range of emotion that goes on throughout the day, isn't there? And like you say, Rach, it's I love to see that transformation too. I think we had one woman actually come along one time and say, I'm coming, I'm really happy to be here, but I don't want any photos taken. Do you remember? And by the end of it, she was like, yeah, take a photo of me here. Take a photo of me like this. Take a photo of me like this. And she was like, she's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
That's such
beautiful.
a gorgeous transformation. Yeah.
And I think when the same person has come back a few different times as well, and how they might be in a different headspace or a different energy on different times, and so they've been able to explore different facets of themselves and different facets of their personality and different parts that they want to express. And I think maybe got something different out of it each time, because obviously, as you say, it's a co-created event, so every time, although every time is magical, it is different every time because of the the different people who bring their energy and their creativity. And I feel like I could just keep doing them forever. And every time it would be different and wonderful, and I'd get something new out of it.
Yeah, and we also do them in spring and autumn, so there's also that kind of seasonal change in the landscape as well, isn't there? And people feel very different. Yeah, it's really wonderful. Kate, do you want to because I feel like you've kind of had maybe a bit more I guess experience in terms of what the wild archetype could have meant to you before you joined the Wild Woman photo shoot. So just kind of just seeing how meeting and exploring and embodying that, and also kind of your understanding of what the Wild Woman archetype means to you, basically, is what I'm trying to ask.
Okay. It's definitely transformed a lot. So before, I had a very similar kind of image as Rachel did, and I was very much that. I was a hippie, barefoot, climbing trees. I live shamanically, so I do have a lot of those kind of stereotypes. It ended up being that as usually classed as the wild woman. And then on this journey, I started kind of allowing myself to relax, and I'd realised I'd kind of put myself into that box. And what I then started to do, with help from these days, was to kind of relax the idea and go, okay, well, what does that actually mean to me? Why is that important? Is it still important? Those kind of things that, maybe someone else had mentioned it and I looked up to them, so I've taken that on, but is that true to me? So I kind of sunk more into those ideas, and what it now means is to be truthful. It's very much this kind of throat chakra to me. It's kind of living and speaking your truth as it is in those moments, and being okay with the change again as well. Like, we are shifting and changing as people most of the time, and that's great, because we're always kind of moving forward then, aren't we, when we're on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth. And so now very much the Wild Woman is more about that, is living and speaking your truth as authentically as possible.
Wow, living and speaking your truth as authentically as possible. Oh, I'm just taking that in. That's really gorgeous. Wow. Living and speaking your truth. That's some powerful words there. Yeah. Wow. Rach, what about you? What do you think? What does the wild woman archetype mean to you?
I feel like I'm probably just going to repeat what Kate said, but not as articulately. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, as I said, I had a bit of a stereotype in my head about what it meant. And yeah, more and more now, I think for me, it's about, yeah, authenticity. And as Kate said, that is being authentic in the moment that you're in. So it's not, again, it's like the thing of like not trying to put yourself in a box or put anybody else in a box. It's you know, because I could say, right, this is who I am, this is how I am, but then that can change so much from day to day, and life is a constantly evolving process. You know, we are cyclical beings, so, you know, every month things change, and then just, you know, long term we're always constantly changing and shifting. So I think for me it's becoming more about really checking in and tuning in with myself and who I am and what I need, and being confident to voice that and express that. And that is a real journey. That's a real journey that I feel I'll be on for, you know, for life, really. And perhaps there's something in there as well about starting to pick apart what is me and what is true and authentic, and what is my conditioning and society's input, and the, you know, what I've picked up from other people and the world over the years, and kind of how those things have meshed together, and how much I want them to be meshed together, and like sort of the integration of all the different facets of myself. So yeah, it's kind of complex, I would say. Yeah, I think it comes down to, like, largely down to, yeah, that authenticity, and authenticity in expression, and non-judgmental authenticity, I guess. I feel like because it's so easy to judge. I feel like I fall into comparisonitis very quickly. You know, oh, that person's getting it right, that person's really embodying the wild woman, and I'm whatever, not. But again, it's just like, just constantly coming back to, okay, well, what's going on for me right now? What do I need? Rather than looking outward all the time. Yeah, I don't know if that was very articulate, but
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely was.
yeah, it still very much feels like a kind of evolving, like the ideas around it are still evolving for me. So, and probably will continue to. So I don't feel like I've got like a dictionary definition at my fingertips yet. So
yeah, no, that's gorgeous. And yeah, I love what you both said around, like, expressing, you know, authentically expressing and voicing, speaking your truth. These are concepts that I think you could probably talk about for like hours, and I would really love to talk about them for hours. And yeah, I guess I'm wondering, the word that strongly comes to mind for me is intuition. It's like this intuitive, like you were saying, you both said about tuning in to who you are, you know, asking those questions of what do I need. And yeah, I think, especially as women, but I think everyone has the ability of intuition. But it's like a muscle that has never really been celebrated or used or exercised, I think, a lot in our culture, in our education system and everything. So for me, when I came across the Wild Woman archetype, I actually read Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola. Excuse me, Estes. And she was again talking about these things of, like you said, Rach, we have cycles. There is the natural rhythm of the world, you know, especially in our part of the world, there is really clear seasons. And then as women, we have we have seasons, and we have a cycle every month. Even if we don't have a bleed, even if we don't, even have like the physical uterus, we still have some kind of cycle because we're connected to the moon. And it's just basically just all these things that she started talking about, and I was just a bit like, holy cow. I just felt like something had just switched on inside me, and it was just a real like enlightened moment of, oh my god, I've been so disconnected from my body, so disconnected from my cycles, so disconnected from the natural world. And like, Kate, you said the other day, we are nature. We are literally nature. We're not separate from it. We are nature. And it kind of just blew my mind that I was just like hating on my body, and I was so critical of everything that I was doing. I just thought, wow, it was almost like a homecoming for me reading that book. And it was like it began a journey of, like you said, Rach, tuning into my intuition, tuning into my body, and it kind of helped me make peace with my body in a really significant way. And it still continues to do that. Obviously, my body is changing constantly, and especially now in these times where my body has changed. And it's also it was a real like homecoming, and almost and a sense of belonging it gave me as well. This kind of like yearning that I've been feeling to kind of find my place in the world, and do this, tick these boxes, do this, like it's like this doing energy. When the Wild Woman archetype was just, it kind of like was like a journey into myself, or coming home to myself and my body, and learning to really acknowledge and honor the absolute miracle that we're alive, right? It's just like this whole thing of taking away that layer of judgment and criticism, and just seeing, wow, we are walking miracles, and our bodies do amazing things to keep us alive every day. And it's just been such an awesome, juicy, nourishing, delicious for me to learn and be with and converse with my inner wild woman, and that changes and changes. But whew, it's a juicy subject, and I love it. So I'm just so grateful for you both, and for Robin, and everyone who's joined us so far on that journey, because I kind of get that the word wild in our culture, in our society, does come with a lot of stigma, and it comes with a lot of labels, this sort of out of control,
it's taboo,
kind of,
isn't it?
it is, and it's almost like this wild woman, it allowed me to sort of make peace with, even like my body hair, even like my stretch marks, and just all the kind of imperfections that we're so focused on, and kind of sharing that space with other women who have similar things going on. It's just so joyous and wonderful. I feel like I rambled on for a bit there.
Good. Okay.
So I feel it feels like it's a real kind of sensorial thing as well, isn't it? Because we do a lot, like Kate, you guide us through a meditation that grounds us to the earth, so we can physically feel our body, can physically feel the space around us. And I think coming home to the senses almost enables that connection to expand, doesn't it? And the same with you, Rach. You take lovely photos of like the foliage and the things that you spot, the shadows and all this kind of stuff. It's very sensorial, which I think is so gorgeous.
It's a real whole sensory experience, isn't it, really, those gardens? Just the sound of the bird song, and the smell of the grass and the flowers, and just the beautiful sights that are everywhere. And like, one of my favorite things when I get in those gardens is just kicking my shoes off and getting my feet on the grass, and like it's lovely.
So lovely. So we're going to be doing we're going to do a whole week of things that we do at the Wild Woman photo shoot. So Kate, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're going to be offering on your day?
Why not? So I'll be, I suppose, facilitating the Monday. So I'm gonna record the meditation that I do. Obviously they're always a little bit different because I'm guided by the energy, but there's an overall theme that helps us to connect and center ourselves. So I will be doing that, and then we're also going to be looking at our limiting beliefs and things that from our past we might be bringing forward into the now that are holding us back from truly being present and allowing ourselves to just be. So that's my intention.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, it's so good. It's so good to start the day with your meditation, because it's just like taking a deep breath. We're letting sort of like our to-do list and the outside world kind of just drop away, and yeah, coming home to ourselves, coming home to the land. It's so gorgeous. I love it. So excited. Rach, do you want to tell us what you're going to be doing?
Yes, so I'm going to be facilitating, if that's the right word, on the Tuesday and the Friday, I believe. So I'm going to be offering some photography exercises, actually. So as I said earlier, for me, the Wild Woman photo shoot, so much of the joy I get from the day is about the beauty and the connection with nature, and just such a beautiful day on so many levels. And part of that for me is about taking myself out of my general day-to-day environment and going somewhere new and different and beautiful. And how, obviously at the moment that's not so easy to do with lockdown, and although lockdown is being slightly eased, it's likely that we are all staying very close to home, and we might be getting rather fed up of our everyday surroundings. So I'm going to be offering some photography activities that I actually use myself quite often, just to reconnect with our everyday, very ordinary surroundings, and just seeing them in a new way, and seeing perhaps things that we would normally write off as being very dull and mundane, and looking at them in a fresh perspective. I'm calling my workshops Magic in the Mundane. So I'm hoping that it will really help people who are maybe struggling to see the beauty that's all around them, because I know that I can really struggle with that sometimes. So it's
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, and I think that's so precious, isn't it? Because firstly, it's like a really beautiful, creative way to, again, I feel like it's quite sensorial and physical. You're like, you're looking and you're appreciating, but you're looking and observing maybe, and having that intention of trying something new and seeing with new eyes, and seeing something that you take for granted every day. And just kind of reveling in its beauty. And then we're gonna have a little Facebook group so people can share their photos, aren't we? So it'd be lovely to see everyone's perspectives on that.
I'm planning on doing the exercise that I'm sharing on Tuesday. I won't give away too much yet, but I'll be doing that exercise myself. I'm planning on doing it every day, so I'll be sharing the photos that I'm taking, and just as well, I'll say this in the videos I'm sharing on the day, but it's really not anything about taking good photos. You don't need a fancy camera. It's something anyone can do on just using a phone. It's really all about the process of just an opportunity to kind of pause, take a step out of like your daily routine, and just spend a bit of time just looking and looking and appreciating.
Gorgeous. Love it. Thanks, Rach. Yeah, so we've got a whole week of juicy things happening, basically. I'm going to be offering, firstly, I'm going to do a groove session, a groove hour with some stillness, but I'm also going to be doing a meditation or a visualization to kind of connect in more with our bodies and kind of explore what's going on in there, and also going to be showing some music that kind of helps me just relax and enjoy and really enjoy dancing and being free. What else was I going to do? Yeah, also throughout the week I'll share resources like books and podcasts and things that we've all come across that help us to embody again and remind ourselves of how amazing we are. What else is happening? Conversations, recordings, videos, podcasts, all that juicy stuff's going to be available throughout the week. And we're also going to be sharing some, well, yeah, a lot of the photos from the actual days that we've had already by the wonderful photographer Rachel Wright. What else is happening? We're going to have a sharing circle, aren't we, at the beginning and at the end of the week, which we normally do on the day as well. So if you're interested to come along, and you don't even have to share, you can listen and just be in company of supportive, compassionate women who are willing to share their truths and connect on a heart-to-heart level. And again, if you're feeling a bit nervous or unsure, just get in touch with us and we're happy to kind of have a chat about what could happen. You can do it at your own leisure, in the comfort of your own home. Yeah, it would be great if you wanted to join us. Cool. Does anybody have anything that they want to add before we finish?
No, just really excited about this week. Yeah, and yeah, looking forward to lots of people joining us and seeing people we know, seeing some new faces. It'll be really lovely, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what unfolds.
Yeah. Ooh, ooh. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me and having this chat today. Hopefully we will see you all very soon, either in the ether, somewhere in the ether, or Zoom land, or the Facebook group. But yeah, just watch out on our Facebook page for more details. Lots of love.